Welcome, everyone, to A Mexican Crossing Lines with your hosts, Cindy Gomez-Schempp.
And Duke Gomez-Schempp.
You're listening to 88.1 FM, KPPPLP, Fargo, Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. Tonight, we're going to talk about quarantine. We're going to talk about sheltering in place, staying home. Some people are calling it martial law. But the fact is that if you're not already on a lockdown, 13 states around the country are. They have already shut down all non-essential business. That's 13 states out of 50. It's moving faster, and you're going to see more of it. And people are already starting to feel the pressure, both mentally and emotionally and economically, of this shutdown. In states where this quarantine, self-quarantining, social distancing, closing down the businesses, where that's not an order of the governor yet, people are still taking measures to protect themselves as they begin to realize the seriousness of this virus, COVID-19. And so we're going to look around the world and figure out what's going on with regard to this quarantine situation tonight on my show. I also want to thank folks that are sending stories and information and keeping us up to date on what's going on. I urge people, please do some digging before you send your information.
That's right.
Because some of the fake news, and a lot of that happens on social media, got to check deeper. Make sure that the news that you see is real. So we had somebody send us some kind of message about spraying from helicopters and planes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not happening. It's not happening. So look carefully, because you don't want to spread fake news and scare people unnecessarily. We already have lots of things to deal with. We don't need fake stories. But definitely make sure to get everyone listening to 88.1 FM, especially here in the Fargo Moorhead metro area. Do you have a loved one that needs a radio? Take a radio over to their house, leave it on their doorstep, make sure it's cleaned off nice.
And tune it to 88.1.
And turn it to 88.1, right, Duke?
That's right. And also it's like, all over the community, people have radios in their cars. And once again, we need radios in houses. So try to get out there and get people to find their radios. And wherever your community is, the radio is going to become more and more important, because you'll get quick news, local news. You'll get alerts. If things are happening that God forbid that you would need to do something as a community at once, it would help you find out.
And in this time of need, if you're a business, if you're an organization, a group, a nonprofit that's doing work to help in this crisis, if you're providing essential services, food, resources, etc., and you want to make an announcement, you want to do an advertisement style announcement to let people know where they can pick up, where they can drop off, etc., contact us here at 88.1 FM. We will be that source of information at no cost. At no cost. We want to make sure everyone right now has the latest information that helps our small businesses, that helps our community be informed about COVID-19. And Duke, how can folks call and leave a message on our message line, follow us on social media, and donate to our nonprofit radio station?
Well, if you would like to contact us on our message line, you can call 701-566-0917. Again, that number is 701-566-0917. Leave a message up to 3 minutes. We might play it on the air, and it's a great way to get us information. If you'd rather do it electronically, you can email Cindy at kpppfm.com or me, Duke, at kpppfm.com. You're listening right now on locally on the air, plus online live on Facebook. Fargo More 88.1, Fargo Moorhead is our Facebook page. Also, we have Mexi-Can and the People's Press Project. We also have a Twitter account. It's at media_PPP. You can also go to kpppfm.com and have a look around at our programming and look at our past shows. It's one great place. You can go at one spot and find all the shows we've done for the past 3-4 years. Also, when you're on kpppfm.com, please don't hesitate to support our organization, support our work with a tax-deductible contribution. You can go to kpppfm.com/donate. Also, we have a YouTube channel. It's Duke1517. All of these programs are premiered on YouTube because we are doing Facebook Live because it's a way to reach an audience locally and nationally and internationally.
Exactly. And if you want to join into comment, ask questions, you can always join our stream. We are live streaming all of our broadcasts on Facebook, and you can comment, and then we can read those, like the comment from Brad Kilmer. Hi, Brad. He says, people I've known for years want to fuss at me when I call out misinformation. We will all get through this together. Thank you. Hashtag Mexican Crossing Lines for all you do. Back at you, Brad. I see your messages of support on social media for the people that have to stay at home, people like yourself that worked in the service industry. There's lots of folks hurting right now. Lots of folks hurting economically. Lots of folks that are just going bonkers with cabin fever, stuck in their house. I mean, I'm starting to feel the pain in my hands. My hands are burning. How are your hands doing, dude?
My hands are doing good. You've been washing them a lot, so you're ripping your skin off,
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing good. It's like I can't go out and have access to the things I need for this household, so I've had to have things deliver in, and it's more expensive, but I still can get things. And I don't have a real need to go anywhere because we're all here and we work right here. So that's a benefit. And it's a benefit for you too, because then we can do these shows and get them out to you. There's a lot of TV stations and radio stations that they have pared down the people that are there. People have been sent home, and I don't know what people are doing there. If they're just camping out and just staying there, that's their new life, but they're not in their homes, and I like being in their house.
Yeah, we are really fortunate in that way. But there are scarcities happening. Toilet paper is still in short supply.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to put, rations on how much you can buy at a time on things like eggs and milk and meats and things like that. So it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to be easy. Things are going to be difficult, but we have to stay in check. We have to stay calm. Panicking isn't going to do anybody any good.
That's right.
And we have to, be empathetic to the people around us. Don't buy more than you need at the time. Think about other people that need those resources. COVID is worldwide right now, still climbing. The numbers are really astounding. The global numbers right now stand at 374,921 confirmed cases. Italy now is up to 6,077 cases. China is at 3,153. Spain is at 2,207. Iran is up to 1,812. France is 860. The UK is at 335. The Netherlands and Germany, Switzerland and Germany are both at 118. And South Korea is at 111. We talked on my last show about the testing they are doing in Korea and how they have these booths that allow people to go in and through a glass door, basically, there is a doctor that comes in full, hazmat
gear, yeah.
Hazmat gear, and they stick their hands through these glove things, like they had in the movie The Boy in the Bubble. I don't know if you remember that. Had those big gloves go all the way to your elbow, and then they do the swab on the person, and then they're airlocked booths. So then the person leaves. You can only do one person at a time. The person leaves, and then they like basically spray it down and prepare it for the next person, all like this.
And the booths are lined up in a row, so it's not just one person at a time. Like only one person per booth.
They can do 80 a day or something like that. I mean, it's a lot. We need to ramp up our testing. But as I've said, once we ramp up our testing, what's going to happen is we're going to see a spike in the number of cases.
Yeah.
Nationally, right now we're at 42,964. It is incredible how much these numbers have climbed. United States sits at 526 deaths and 295 people that have recovered.
Wow.
And in North Dakota, we are up to 30 people with the coronavirus.
Wow.
And in Minnesota, we had the first death in Ramsey County. And we have how many cases of coronavirus? 235.
Oh, my God.
I'm really starting to get scared for Minnesota because we have, double-digit hundred cases right along with Maryland, Indiana, Utah, Virginia, Mississippi, and Nevada. All of those states I just named, and South Carolina, have 200 and some cases in the 200s range. In the 400s range are Connecticut, Wisconsin, Ohio, Colorado. Colorado's in the 500 range. In the 600 range is Tennessee and Pennsylvania. In the 700 range, Texas, Massachusetts, and Georgia. And over 1,000 cases, we have Florida, Louisiana, Illinois, Michigan, Washington, California, New Jersey. New York has a stunning 20,875 cases.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. I pray for New York. I'm praying for New York right now. So I told you 13 states currently have shelter-in-place orders or quarantine, whatever you want to call it. You can't go out anymore. Locally and internationally, public transport is still available in most places, although I would be very scared of using public transport because there's a lot of people that could be coughing on surfaces and...
Or you surround a lot of people. It's dense density,
But one good thing is that starting today, Monday, March 23rd, your MAP bus ride is free. So they are going to have transportation, Fargo-Moorhead. If you're local and you need to use the bus, it will be free. So that is one good thing.
Yeah, they said that one reason that's good too is it minimizes standing in the front. The drivers don't have to take money, and people get on the bus and they get off the bus, and it flows them in a lot better. It's a lot easier to operate without people standing there and doing the money and doing the fares and getting transfers from the bus driver. All that contact is eliminated.
And if there are other places, if public transportation is free in your neck of the woods, comment and let me know. Meanwhile, I wanted to share with people the dangers of assuming and sharing fake news or information. Do you realize that because of the president's announcement that they were going to use chloroquine or some other type of
quinine type stuff.
Quinine-based medications that are used for treating malaria may work. They're going to test them. They have to test them first in trials. They have to do trials and check to see if they're effective at all in treating people for COVID-19. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, people started overdosing on malaria medication
Really?
because of the president's announcement. So the Nigerian CDC had to put out a notification, a tweet telling people not to use it. It says, "Facts, not fear," has not approved the use of chloroquine for COVID-19 management. Scientists are working hard to confirm the safety of several drugs for the disease. Please do not engage in self-medication. This will cause harm and lead to, I can't read what the rest of that says, but I think it says lead to death.
Death.
Yes, there have been several overdoses because I guess people are even taking more than they would need for malaria. I don't know,
Oh my
but
God.
it's not good. Quinine is poison, right,
It
dude?
is, yeah. And I always thought it was weird that tonic water contains quinine. I read that on the bottle. I used to drink gin and tonics, and I'm looking at the tonic water, and it says contains quinine. I'm thinking, well, how much of that can a person have in their body? I know they use it to treat malaria, and I think it's some trace amount, but they at least they put it on the bottle to warn you as a consumer. And I quit drinking that stuff years ago, but I can just see the panic and the fear, and people not knowing how to dose, and also it hasn't been tested. It's not even sure if it's going to be effective.
Mm-hmm. Well, a new study, according to CBS News, a new study suggests respiratory symptoms aren't the only thing that doctors and patients should be looking out for. According to this news report from CBS News, almost half of coronavirus patients have digestive symptoms.
Really?
One study found, yes. So remember I told folks yesterday that one of the things that they found in studies in many of the countries where COVID has already been ravaging patients is that there are some people that have a loss of smell
Yep.
and a loss of taste,
Taste,
or
yeah.
a loss of taste in the absence sometimes of any other symptoms. And so that's really important for people to know that there are other things that could be markers that could put people at a higher risk or have show signs of them being contagious. Let me show you Exhibit A. For those of you still thinking about going out, going to that concert, that event, that family gathering, that dinner, what have you, just take a look at this graphic of how they swab. It looks like they are tickling your brain with a very, very long Q-tip.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is what was done to the president, the vice president, the first lady, and
Oh my God.
vice president's wife as well. This they had to have this done. It will hurt. It
Yeah.
does make you bleed most of the time when they
Oh
do
my
this
goodness.
because it's painful.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So if you look at that, it doesn't look comfortable. Young people, I hope that this is a terrifying image to you and it makes you think twice. This is the coronavirus swab. Yes,
Yep.
that is how far back it goes. So unless you want this done to you, stay home and please wash your hands.
Yeah.
Wash your hands. It's one of the things that you can do to make sure that you do not pass on this virus to yourself or to others. Maintain a distance from other people, especially anybody that's coughing. Now, all the places are now, if public health called you tomorrow, I want you to think about this, folks. If public health called you tomorrow and told you had tested positive for COVID-19 and had you list all the places that you have been and all of the people that you've had contact with in the last 14 days, would you be proud of yourself? Would you be embarrassed? Would you be afraid? I shared a video on my social media accounts of a terrifying conference call, video chat that a woman shared with her niece. And she was saying that she tested positive for COVID-19. This is in Mexico. And she said that she had not been practicing social distancing, that she had just flown back from Denver, Colorado. And after she got home, rather than quarantining, like many people who are arriving back home from vacations or whatever have been deciding to do, she decided she didn't have to. She went out to a party. Next day, she thought she had a real bad hangover, but it was actually COVID. But she didn't get a fever and she didn't get to feeling really sick until the next day, where she went to a hospital and paid several $100s for a COVID test, then went back home and self-quarantined in her room for 3 days before she found out the results were positive. And her family members during that period of time thought that since she was quarantining in her room while she was waiting for her test, they would be okay. But they all tested positive as well. But they didn't realize that right away. And in the meantime, they went to parties.
Oh, boy.
They went to visit family members. They went shopping.
Yeah.
They went and they went and they went and infected dozens of other people. So you have to think about this right now. You have to think about how many people you are coming into contact with, because you should be acting and you should be thinking and acting not what will happen when you get the virus, but you should be thinking, if I'm already contagious, how do I avoid spreading this to more people? That's what you should be thinking about, because you don't know. And there's going to be people that are asymptomatic, showing no symptoms, and they will have the virus. Now, what is our government doing to support us? I hate to say it, but precious little. And
yeah.
I'm really upset about it, Duke. What's going on in Congress right
I'm
now?
disgusted too, and I was just saying a couple of days ago, we were looking at the legislation, and I just knew the Democrats were going to take this opportunity to basically bulk at anything and make a big deal about things. And it's like, now is not the time. You can complain about this thing benefits these companies and all these sorts of things, and that they're already rich and all this sort of stuff. But the best thing we could do is that if we had a stimulus package that goes to the people, it's going to quell a lot of fears, because people's money is drying up. We're into, a week and a half now without people being able to work. Sure, unemployment, some qualify, some don't. People aren't making money. They're going to panic. That would help for a short term. The idea is to keep everybody away from each other for a couple of weeks. If we can just do that, that's going to have a massive effect in this country on the spread of this virus. And here's Congress dickering again and again and again. And at this moment, they still are. And the Democrats are flexing the little power they have to be able to stop this thing.
To hurt people.
And it hurts people.
And a lot of people are very angry. I want to share a video of Mitch McConnell. And in this video, Mitch McConnell is pretty upset.
Yeah.
He's pretty angry at what's going on. This is former governor,
Yep.
now Congress member.
Senator Hoven.
Senator Hoven, yes. Yep. Here he is.
The American people are watching this spectacle.
And there's Mitch.
I'm told the futures market is down 5%. I'm also told that that's when trading stops. So the notion that we have time to play games here with the American economy and the American people is utterly absurd. So I want to explain what just happened. Our good friends on the other side would not have been disadvantaged one bit if this vote had succeeded, because it would have required potentially 30 more hours of discussion, during which these seemingly endless negotiations could go on as long as they would like. Now, the buildup to this, so everybody fully understands, is that we had a high level of bipartisanship in 5 different working groups over the last 48 hours, where members who were participating were reaching agreement. And then all of a sudden, the Democratic leader and the Speaker of the House shows up. And we're back to square one. So we're fiddling here, fiddling with the emotions of the American people, fiddling with the markets, fiddling with our health care. The American people expect us to act tomorrow. And I want everybody to fully understand, if we aren't able to act tomorrow, it'll be because of our colleagues on the other side continuing to dicker when the country expects us to come together and address this problem. Now, I changed my vote, which gives me the opportunity to move to reconsider at a later time. That's all I can do in the face of this obstruction. Look, I can understand obstruction when you're trying to achieve something. This obstruction achieves nothing, nothing whatsoever, other than prevent us from getting into a position where there are literally 30 more hours that they could use to continue to dicker. So at a time when the country is crying out for bipartisanship and cooperation, and we saw that over the last 48 hours when regular members of the Senate, not in the leadership office, not in the Speaker's office, for goodness sake, she's the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker of the Senate. We don't have one. We were doing just fine until that intervention. So I want the American people to fully understand what's going on here. The markets are already reacting to this outrageous nonsense. We have an obligation to the American people to deal with this emergency and to deal with it tomorrow. And if we don't, I want everybody to fully understand, you've seen everybody who's on record. Now, I've conspicuously avoided trying to turn this into any kind of partisan effort for 2 days. But it's pretty clear what's going on here. And we'll have this cloture vote again at some point of my choosing. And hopefully, some adults will show up on the other side of the room and understand the gravity of the situation and the need to act before the markets go down further and the American people become even more depressed about our lack of ability to come together under the most extraordinary circumstances. We've never been confronted with anything like this before. It's totally different. And we're not immune to it in terms of the public health risk. Coronavirus has hit the Senate today as well. We have 5 members in self-quarantine. So everybody understands the emergency, particularly when it hits close to home. It's not just back in our states, but right here in the Senate. So I would say to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, step up. Step up. Help us reach an agreement so we can do what needs to be done for the American people no later than tomorrow. I suggest the absence of quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch.
Step up
Step up
for the American people.
or shut up.
We need you to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read some of the comments from our listeners and viewers. Joanna says that there are 65 cases in Jefferson County, Alabama. And Sheila reports that she has been in-home quarantine, self-quarantine, 12 days, 0 contact with outside world. Good job, Sheila. Hang in there, Sheila. You can do it. We also have another person that says, Cynthia says she's been in self-quarantine for 6 days.
Wow.
Good job. Good job. Very good that you guys are doing what you can to protect yourselves and your family members. Colleen comments that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer need to stop holding Americans hostage and get to work. How do you feel about this, folks? You guys that are out there listening, have you called your representative? Have you called your legislator, your senator, and told them what the American people are going through right now? Sheila comments, Mitch is from my state. I've emailed and called him numerous times when I don't agree with him, but he is right on this. Oh, Sheila, I agree with you 100% there.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have to. We do have to. Geneva comments, abortion, windmills, solar have nothing to do with what we are dealing with. So are they trying to put wind and solar and all that stuff into these relief bills? Is that what's going on?
A lot of times the way the bills are written is they're full of all these things that have nothing to do with it, and people are trying, instead of having the merit of legislation on its own pass, they do these riders on these bills, and a lot of times those kill the bills,
I want to commend the people that are self-quarantining, because you are practicing something by staying at home that is going to eventually happen everywhere. I am telling you now, watch and learn, watch and see. It's already the way that everything has happened in other countries. The UK said, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to take drastic measures. We're not going to panic. Now they have everybody over the age of 70 quarantined. China at first didn't want to do anything. They didn't react. Italy didn't want to do anything. Then now they're yelling at people who are walking around outside, even people that are jogging or walking their dogs, and they're telling people they have to stay at home. I'm going to share with you how bad things are going to get. Okay, I'm going to give you a peek into the future on my show tonight. Marianne, congratulations, self-quarantining in San Diego, 7 days.
Wow.
Fantastic. Good job to all of you who are out there. Hey, if you want to tell me how many days you've been in quarantine and share with me what it's been like for you, join us on our live stream, comment. You can ask me questions. I hope to find an answer for you. If I don't have the answer, I'll try to find it. But you can let me know, and I'd love to hear your stories on my show tomorrow, folks. You don't want to miss my show tomorrow. But on my show tomorrow, I'm going to be interviewing a former intern of ours, Ruben Flores, who is in self-quarantine right now for 2 weeks, just returned from Panama. And boy, has he got a story to tell you about how they are reacting to the coronavirus there, and what it was like for him to try to come back home to the U.S. What he is going to tell you will be very similar to what Americans abroad will be facing when they try to come back to the United States. So stay tuned for tomorrow's show. Meanwhile, I want to share with you what after the pandemic will look like. Because in China, they're post-pandemic, they're post-coronavirus peak pandemic deaths, quarantines, and they're trying to kickstart their economy. And there's a Chinese blogger that I'm going to share with you, which gives you an idea of what we can expect and how tough it's going to be to get our economy back on its feet. Here is that blogger.
As a member of a lower class family in China, I think the lives of the vast majority of Chinese people have been severely disrupted by this virus.
This is life in mainland China after the quarantine. You can see very few people out.
I am a Chinese living in a major Chinese city that is considered to be one of the most risky city in China to be infected by the COVID-19 coronavirus. As a regular Chinese guy, I see a lot of confusion online about how it really affected the life of the ordinary people in China. Today I would like to just clear out this confusion and present you guys with a clear picture of what really happened and what's really happening in China. So,
after more than 80,000 cases, the coronavirus has now declined. Despite accusations regarding the lack of transparency, the government and the government's handling the crisis, who representatives can say we can learn from them. It's an epidemic that has been nipped and it was growing and stopped in its tracks. This lesson is containment, therefore it's a lesson of other countries can learn from and adapt to their own circumstances. Dr. Galea said residents of Wuhan paid a price during the lockdown, buying time for the rest of China and the international community.
I'm walking into a shopping mall, and you see there's an entrance to the mall, and when people want to get into the mall, people have to line up to get temperature check and present a proper document to prove that they do not have the probability to spread coronavirus. This is just a commonplace procedure that happens all across China, nothing really special. You know, a month ago when the coronavirus was rapidly spreading across China, almost all the stores are closed. All the stores that is reopened right now were all closed for almost a month because we know how serious this is, and the local government all across China just took extremely draconian measures to contain the virus, and it worked. Obviously, the ordinary people in China suffer a lot. You cannot go out to work. You are just staying at your home, praying to go out to work and get paid. You know, having no income. There was a really predicament for most of the lower and middle class families in China, and I think we are still coping with this adverse situation. Although many stores have reopened their business, they are not getting the customers they used to get before the coronavirus. Still, a lot of people are not willing to go to public places to do consumption. There's a big TV screen on this shopping mall about how to wear your mask in a proper way and how to wash your hands in a proper way. Basically, all the public venues display this type of warnings and notices that are helping people to get more knowledge about how to take precautions in scientific ways. All the groceries is all available. Like, I was really panicking, and I think there was an instinctive reaction, but not really necessary. So my experience coming out of the outbreak is that you don't have to be panic buying stuff like toilet paper, but you have to be buying medical supplies. The experience I get is that don't panic, but be prepared and just take extreme precautions that are available in your country.
That was a production by Now This. So what can you take away from that? I mean, a lot of people are very scared about businesses closing and never reopening.
Well, you know, he talked about in a month time frame. And I was like, you know, we're only into a week or so, you know, and the way Congress is moving, they're not going to make a solution in a month, you know. But he did say some significant things about they did draconian measures, but they contained these communities, forced them not to, you know, to be in quarantine, and the virus started going down. And it is hard. It is very hard to recover if you spend a month and a half, and maybe you've been sick and you're not making any money and you're not having any food. You're in a hard position to spring back from. And also the consumerism is that people are still scared to go out. They want to catch it again, or they want to spread it because it's still there. It's not gone. It's just that the curve thing had happened. It hit the top and it's on its way down. And that's what we're trying to do in this community, in this country, is to get people just to stay home and not be in contact with people. And it's going to have a dramatic effect in a couple of weeks. If we can just do it for a couple of weeks, you know, otherwise we'll be having to do it for months.
Well, let me tell you something. People are already getting a little stir crazy here. I was having a conversation with a colleague today. This is a violation of our constitutional rights and civil rights to, you know, hang out with people that might have the virus if I want to. You know, if I'm a healthy person and I feel like I want to take that risk. And, you know, I'm of the opinion, like the Chinese people did in their moment, which is you're going to have to take a hit. We have to take a hit economically to flatten the curve. Nothing will change the numbers will keep climbing stratospherically. I don't want us to be Italy. We are on target to surpass Italy at this point in number of deaths and in a collapsing medical system. And it is going to be so devastating and so heartbreaking to watch this beautiful country go through that. So, how do you feel? Like, there are a lot of people. And then again, there are some people that were like, we don't have to, like, the cure, or the cure to this problem can't be worse than the COVID virus. If we're going to end up destroying our economy to save some lives, there's people on both sides of this argument, and I don't know.
Well, as soon as a family member's affected, that's going to change a lot of people's tune, or people they know, because it has been like here in North Dakota, Minnesota, not like New York, but when people are getting tested, you're seeing the numbers climb and climb and climb, and it's just like people just hang in there. I mean, it's like they don't have the discipline to do the right thing for the whole community, and that's probably the most disappointing thing to me, is that they're too self-centered about themselves, that they don't care about anyone else, and they want to create risk for other people. And the attitude is that I can do what I want, and I don't like that. And this is going to teach people that the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, already, folks, there are, in the New York Times, if you could bring up this next graphic, New York Times article shows that the virus can be stopped, but it only with harsh steps, experts say. So you're going to hear more and more about getting harsh and taking the steps. I am of the opinion, from everything that I've seen since I started reporting on the coronavirus, that until somebody in government says you're ordered to stay home, people are going to still go out. They are not going to stop. And also, I want to warn you, because we're going to see a lot more of this, there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I mean, I've already seen some of these anarchist types.
Oh, yeah.
This is a post from a guy that's one of those anarchist types, and they posted along with the order from Governor Brown in their state, issuing an executive order that all non-essential businesses would be closed throughout the state. And I can't even read what he said, but basically he's given, the big F word to the governor. And they finish by saying, she ain't the boss of me. Well, she kind of is the boss of you.
Is the governor.
She's actually the boss of you. And if your governor hasn't yet told you to shelter in place, if they haven't told you to self-quarantine yet, do it on your own.
Yeah.
If you have a medical procedure that is not an emergency, it's an elective procedure. Right now, they can't have all of those because they're straining the medical system. So voluntarily cancel those appointments. You'll be able to get them done after the pandemic. One of the comments from one of our listeners, Betty says, where I live, how we shop, nothing has changed. Nothing. But my dental appointment, they're canceled, right?
Oh, yeah.
All those things are going to be canceled right now because non-essential medical treatment is going to be stopped. And I find it interesting. I suppose it has to do with the technical gap or the knowledge gap between.
Yeah. Plus, you're sticking your hands in people's mouths at the all the dentists closed.
Oh, yeah.
And also things like, I was thinking, when am I going to get a haircut again? I saw people that were home with their kids, and they're letting their facial hair grow. And I said, oh, the guy who works in an office has to shave everything. He's like, hey, I'm not at work. I'm going to just not shave, So he's getting all scruffy. We're all going to look like, woodsmen by this is all done.
You shave every day still.
Yep.
But you know what? I think you look pretty sexy with long hair.
Yeah,
so
we'll see.
So I'm okay with it. I bought myself a little doohickey on the internet so that I can cut my own hair. Yeah. So, ta-da! I don't need to worry about that stuff. Do your own nails, Find a way to do all these things that normally you would go out to do and do them at home. That's all we got to do here. It's very hard to convince our parents, though.
Yeah,
You just talked to your dad today.
Yep.
He went out to the grocery store. He's over 80 years of age. He's one of those people that should be sheltering in place.
Yep.
But he's going stir crazy in the house.
Yep. He's used to being able to do what he wants and when he wants it. And two is he's still under the belief that just don't touch anyone and keep your hands clean, and you're not going to get this virus. And it's like, that was the beginning stage what we were saying. But we've seen, as we've seen on the show, many other ways to pass. The droplets in the air. Just being around other people, you're in danger. So going to the store for that loaf of bread, isn't a good idea. I said to him, well, I'm buying all my stuff and having it delivered to my front door. And he's like, well, that's a good idea. Hopefully he'll take that idea and, have the store do it and not do it himself. But he's real stubborn.
And the young people that are paying attention to, what's going on in the news with this COVID virus are, they're trying to keep their parents at home. They're trying to, this video I'm going to share with you kind of highlights the problems that millennials are having getting their parents to stay inside with this COVID virus. Here's that clip. Little levity.
Dad, where do you think you're going?
Beer with the guys?
Not right now, you're not.
But why?
Do you want the coronavirus? Because that's how you get the coronavirus.
Jason's letting his dad go.
Well, I'm not Jason.
Never let me have any fun.
And you need to wash your hands.
Millennial.
And he threw toilet paper at him.
I love how he throws toilet paper at his dad at the end. Folks, I mean, I think that...
It's really true, though. That's a true video.
It's funny, but it's also... somebody on the internet said that they're very anxious about everything that's happening right now. And humor helps us deal with that. But, this is very, very serious. When I was talking to my friend, I said, right now, if the government tells us we have to stay home, we have to suppress our own civil rights and our rights to assembly for the greater good. And he's like, no, I don't like it when the government tells me what to do. I said, you could be putting yourself and people that have underlying conditions at risk. And he's like, well, if I'm not 80, I'm not. I said, hey, now, there's a 12-year-old girl that has this. And it's true, folks. There is a 12-year-old girl right now with coronavirus who's on a ventilator. And when it's on a ventilator, it's very, very serious.
Yeah.
Half of the people that are put on ventilators don't make it. So she is fighting for her life, literally. Her name is Emma. She had no pre-existing conditions. She had not recently traveled. It is unknown how she contracted this virus. That is terrifying. If you watched my previous show, I had a lot of information in there. But the stunning case of Kevin, the man in his 50s that runs on an elliptical an hour a day, didn't ever take any drugs in his life, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, was self-quarantining for 10 days prior to contracting it, so he had no idea how he even got it. This should, these stories should make you pause. These stories should make you think, okay, I don't need to go out. And if you are still letting your kids have play dates, if you're still taking your kids to McDonald's Playland, if you're still doing whatever it is outside of your home to entertain your kids with other children, because you think that this is a disease that only affects older, middle-aged, or octogenarians or whatever, you're wrong. Your child could be at risk even if they are a baby. And yes, there is the case of a baby, a 7-month-old baby that has tested positive in South Carolina for this virus. And the quote from the mother is, I really feel like people need to know that it's possible for their children to get it. And I feel like a lot of people are taking it as a joke. It is not a joke, folks. It is not a joke. And I understand. I understand. You can't explain to a baby that they can't go outside, that they can't, you know, you can't explain to a toddler that they can't go to the park. You can't explain to little kids that there's a coronavirus, that there is this terrible disease that's killing everyone, and that you're just trying to protect them. Any more than you can explain to a toddler that they can't run in front of traffic. You just got to hold them down. And they're going to cry. And they're going to, they're going to throw a tantrum because they can't go out. You're going to see a lot more of that. I've seen parents online, on social media, complaining that their toddlers are just kind of losing their minds.
Yeah.
But you must do everything to quarantine. I want to share this cute video. It's so sad and it's so cute. Of a little girl in Spain who's under self-quarantine with her family. Excuse me. And she says that she keeps saying calle, calle. She wants to go a la calle, which is to the street. She wants to go outside. And her dad says, no, we can't go outside right now, honey. And she says, a la calle, a la calle. And he's like, no, we can't do that right now. And then she starts coughing. And he says, least of all you.
Exactly.
And she keeps crying and saying, calle. And he says, no, you know what? I can read to you. Would you like to read a story? She runs out of the room. She runs over to the door like, does this man not speak Spanish? I'm saying street. I want to go to the street. Maybe if I point at the door and show it to him, then he'll take me out to the street. And she keeps screaming, and the dad offers to read the story. And finally she says, yes, she wants to read the story.
Yeah.
but she just can't get over the fact that she can't go outside, and she just crumbles into a pile on the floor. Here's that video.
No podemos salir a la calle, vea. Tú menos.
La calle.
Que no, que nos tenemos que quedar aquí.
La calle.
Que no.
La calle.
No, vea, no podemos, hija.
La calle no.
No se puede, vea.
La calle.
No se puede, vea.
La calle.
Es que no se puede, hija.
La calle.
Que no.
La calle.
No, vea, no se puede hoy. No se puede, vea, no. No se puede, lo siento. Vea. ¿Leemos unos cuentos?
No.
Venga, vamos a leer unos cuentos, anda. Vamos a leer unos cuentos. ¿Leemos al pollo Pepe? Venga, vamos a leer unos cuentos, anda. ¿Vamos? Venga, vamos a leer unos cuentos. ¿Qué? Venga. Venga.
Pollo Pepe is the chicken, Pepe the chicken.
Yeah.
He's like, he tried to entice her with what probably is one of her favorite books because she finally stopped crying for a moment.
Yeah, she's
and she
thinking
thought
about
about it. She was like, he's like, hey, what about Pollo Pepe? You want to read that one? And she's like, But
she's like, no.
I know this is happening in homes all around the country. I get it. I know that. But because your child is crying, and maybe you have a headache, maybe you're tired of listening to your child cry, it is not a good reason to put them at risk.
That's right. And I
folks.
think a lot of the adults are going to be acting and are acting just like that kid. Yeah. And they're the ones that went to the bars. They're the ones that are driving around town looking for friends to go visit, trying to, they're the children in this situation.
June is telling us, one of our followers says, I fell yesterday and I injured my shoulder really bad. My primary took me in today.
Oh, wow.
No one gets x-rays or MRIs for at least 3 more weeks.
Wow.
June, I am so sorry that happened. But folks, this is the perfect time for me to warn everyone that things like this are going to happen. And it's not just going to be a lack of MRIs and x-rays, June. It's going to be a lack of treatment, a lack of emergency room care, a lack of everything. So take extra precautions. Don't go rollerblading right now. It's not a good time to hand glide. It is not a good time. If you're parkouring is off the table for the moment, okay? You really do not want to take any kind, okay? I know there's people that love skiing. Just for now, okay? Just for now. Do not take any risks that you could end up injured from, because there's already going to be people like June that simply fall and get injured and have to be treated. So if you can avoid doing activities that are putting you at greater risk for injury, you have to try, and you have to be super careful. I was telling Duke the other day that we kind of have to act like we're living in the sticks, where there are no humans and there isn't a hospital around for miles and miles and miles. And we have to think like that right now, because we may not be able to go into the hospital to get treatment if we get injured.
Yeah, we got to really take it easy. And I even changed the light bulb and had to get up on a little ladder. And I was thinking about that. I can't fall. You're listening to KPPP, LP 88.1, Fargo Moorhead, adding local color to your airwaves.
And let's talk for a moment about how this is affecting border crossings, the illegal kind.
Yeah.
San Diego CBP has put out information stating that the Trump administration officials said Sunday that illegal border crossings have dropped by half as the strictest U.S.-Mexico border policies yet went into place amid the coronavirus pandemic over the weekend. But there was confusion about how it was all working. Anyone caught crossing the border illegally is to be immediately returned back to Mexico or back to Canada.
Yeah.
No processing, no asylum seeking, no questions, no nothing. Back. This is according to the new restrictions based on an order from the Center for Disease Control. Let me repeat that. This is according to the new restrictions based on an order from the Centers for Disease Control. And I make a point of repeating that because there is a lot of people from the Border Support Network and, groups that are participating with some of the criminal enterprises in the smuggling operations that are bringing so many people here to seek asylum, that have been seeking asylum. And they are saying that this is a violation of international human rights, blah, 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 blah. Listen, folks, this is a pandemic. This is an order from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention to stop the spread of the coronavirus and to protect our citizens, to protect the people that are here, okay?
Yep.
According to Mark Morgan, the acting head of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the decision applies to all migrants. Doesn't matter where you're from. Quote, "We are not going to take you into our custody," he said Saturday evening on Fox News. "We don't know anything about you. You have no documents.
Yep.
We're not going to take you into our facilities and put other people at risk. We're not going to take you into our facilities and expose you to CBP personnel and the American people as well as other immigrants." That's right. But Mexican officials have said that they would only take people from Mexico. So Mexico is trying to make it difficult, make it a barrier for the United States to return people that are from Central America into Mexico. And you know that the majority of the people that have been coming in these caravans are from Central America, not Mexico. So I see what you're trying to do there, AMLO. Not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool at all. And Mexico said that, Mexico has already said that they will only take people from Mexico and Central America, but not from other countries, and only those who are encountered straight away, not people who are already in custody. So they don't want people that are in detention facilities to be returned to their countries of origin during a pandemic. Why not? Why not? Those people don't want to be in detention facilities, and we can't release them into the public.
Right.
Officials later said that the elderly and minors wouldn't be taken back, and that they expected to take in about 100 per day.
Wow.
100 people per day. So let's look at what is going on in Italy.
Yeah.
Let's look around the world to see how things are going. Remember Italy that said they weren't going to do much quarantining, and then later they made everyone quarantine? This is the face of the Italian Prime Minister with tears in his eyes. He is saying to the public, we have lost the battle against the coronavirus.
Wow.
We have lost control of it. Only God can help us now. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Because we are on track to be worse in worse conditions than Italy. So, of course, drastic measures, draconian measures, as the Chinese blogger you heard earlier said, have to be taken in order to flatten the curve and stop the spread of the virus. I want to share with you some Italian mayors who have been doing just that. And this is what you're going to expect to be seeing this in a town near you, where people have to take extreme measures to get folks to stay in their homes. Check out these Italian mayors. I'll translate as we go here. I'm getting news that some would like to throw graduation parties. We will send the police over. Watch with flamethrowers. I'm going to catch you tomorrow. Not in a year. Tomorrow. I'm the mayor. You won't stroll in my town. I can't formally ban you from leaving your house. Nice. I'll ban you. I'll send the police to your house. Where the F are you? You and your dogs must have an inflamed prostate because people have been walking their dogs. You can't play ping pong. Go home. Play some video games. I'm the mayor of this city. I will make you follow the decree. You need to go home. You must go home. You all have to stay home. How can I spell this out? You can't be in the streets. And there's people walking around in the streets.
Yeah.
Go home. A club. We need this. Their girlfriend with a club. Getting in the mobile hairdressers. What the F is that for? Do you understand that the casket will be closed? Who the F is supposed to even see you with your hair all done up? As a fellow citizen amicably jogging down the street with their dog,
su e giù per la strada, accompagnato da un cane visibilmente
visibly worn out.
L'ho fermato e gli ho detto guarda che
I stopped and told him,
non è un
look,
film.
This isn't a movie.
Will Smith
You're not Will Smith.
Io sono leggenda.
And I am legend. You have to go home. He's found a woman jogging with her dog, and he stopped her like, listen, this is not a movie. You are not Will Smith in the movie I Am Legend. You need to go home.
Yep. Wow.
And folks, I mean, that's funny. I mean,
but it's real.
It's real. They're yelling, the Italian mayors yelling at their people to go home. It's funny because of the, I think the Italians are funny the way that they yell. He's like, what are you doing having people come to your house to fix your hair for? Don't you get it? When you catch the coronavirus, he goes, don't you get it? The casket will be closed.
Yep,
it's going to be a closed casket. Who the heck is supposed to see your hair right now anyway? Listen, folks, if you think what's going on in Italy is bad, check out what's going on right here in Peru. They have martial law. This is what martial law really looks like. At 8 p.m., You cannot go outside. If you go outside, they have orders to shoot people. They have orders to shoot people. They're all spread out in the video you're about to see. They're spread out like a meter apart from each other, but they're going out and they're stopping people and they're yelling at them. They give them that they need to go home right away, or you're going to get a count to 10. And if you're not in your house, they're going to shoot you. And they do shoot bullets in this video. They shoot them to scare the people. They shoot into the air, but still, this is just Orwellian. Take a look. Take a look at this. Take a listen. I'll translate. Close your window. 2 meters apart, each one of you soldiers. Close your window. I will shoot in the air. Advance, the soldiers' leader tells them. They start walking down the streets. They're spreading the soldiers around. And the people are, get inside of your house. They're carrying weapons, loaded weapons. We'll have to put you in your house by force. Get inside your house. Close your window. Close your window. This is a disposition from the government of Peru. A decree. Everyone needs to be inside at curfew. Stop. Stop right there. Stop. Now they're chasing. They're giving chase. The soldiers are running down the street, trying to catch this individual that's walking around. Stop. Stop. Stop right there. And they shoot. Close your window. Close your window. Identify yourself. You're supposed to stay at home. There's an order. Close your window. The soldier, your documents, please. I need your documents. Close your windows. The soldiers keep walking. They're examining people that are driving. They've stopped a person, told them to get out of their vehicle. The person has got the motor. Open your window. Open your window. Close your window. Get out of your vehicle. So, don't make us take you out by force. Get out of your car. He stops the vehicle. You hear the motor stops running there. And he gets out. They're yelling. The soldiers are constantly yelling up to the people in the houses to close their windows. And now they're examining his papers. They close the door to the vehicle. It's so jankety. And he walks around. He said it just turned 8. Yeah, but you have to be inside by 8. On the dot. On the dot. He was trying to be like, hey, I'm just a few minutes late. It's 8-ish. Stop right there. Now they're giving chase another one. Don't make me shoot you. Stop. And they shoot. Where's your permit? Stop. I'm going to have to shoot. So they're chasing. Retro.
That's it.
And, there was more to this video. that when I watched the original, but you get the idea, right?
yeah.
Like you see what's going on, and there was a woman, an older woman. She was walking down the street. She had like a little blanket on her arm, and they stopped her and they said, "Hey, where are you going? You're not supposed to be outside." She said, I have to go. I just got a call from the emergency room. My grandson is sick. I have to go." And they said, "After 8 o'clock, you can't leave your house. You can't leave your house for any reason." And she said, "I have to go." And they told her, you can't be outside. You can't, you have to go home. And she just kept going. She said, "I guess you're going to have to shoot me then." They told her, "Ma'am, we have orders to shoot. We have orders to shoot people." And she said, "I guess you're going to have to shoot me then." I don't know what happened to that lady.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to her. And then there was another, there was a couple.
Yeah.
It was a guy who was out with his girlfriend, I think, a young woman. She was a minor. And they stopped them. And she tried to hide first.
Yeah.
And he was going to try to, grab the attention of the cops, of the military there. But they did notice her, and they were like, they pulled her out from her little hidey hole, and they said, "What are you guys doing out here?" And the guy started getting all like, "You can't film me, and I don't consent to this, and I don't consent to that."
It's martial law.
And they're like, "Get on your knees." They got this guy on his knees, and then they told him, they said, "You have to the count of 10 to get in your house." I watched this video over and over again. They'd stop a person. "What are you doing outside your house?" "I was just going to go and get some pills."
That's it.
"Go home right away. You can't go to the store right now.
All the stores are closed.
All the stores are closed." I'm going to give you till the count of 10 and to get to your house. And if you're not in your house, I'm going to shoot. And then they're like, "But blah, blah, blah. 1, 2, 3. And then they start shooting. It was, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If you don't think that's going to happen here, I'm not talking about the shooting and the soldiers and all that, but if you don't think more drastic measures and quarantining is not going to happen here, think again. I predict that we will have what is happening in other states, shutdowns in our states, in the states that don't have it. Remember, I told you 13 do. Some of them, like California, already have those in place. And guess what? California is set to use police drones made in China to patrol at night, and they have night vision cameras on them.
Wow.
You know that North Dakota pioneered drone usage.
Yep.
In police, we had the first police department using drones. You can attach guns on those things.
Yeah.
You can attach tear gas. You can attach all sorts of things onto a drone. And it's coming, folks.
Yep.
It's going to happen. Let me read some of this article for you. The California Police Department is planning on using drones equipped with cameras and loudspeakers to monitor the coronavirus shutdown so they don't put their police at jeopardy, you see. The Chula Vista Police Department recently doubled its fleet of drones, purchasing 2 of the machines from China, a Chinese company called DJI. The police department told the Financial Times that they would be outfitted with night vision camera. Quote, "We have not traditionally mounted speakers to our drones, but if we need to cover a large area to get an announcement out, or if there were a crowd somewhere that needed to be dispersed, we could do it without getting any police officers involved. The outbreak has changed my view of expanding the program as rapidly as I can. U.S. officials have warned about the threat of Chinese-made drones what the Chinese-made drones could pose to the United States. The company that the police department is purchasing from, DJI, is the world's largest player in civilian drone industry. Spencer Gore, chief executive of the U.S.-based drone company Impossible Aerospace, said he's working like crazy to help equip others in law enforcement agencies with drones, and emphasized that the hardware his company uses is made domestically. What we saw in China and what we're probably going to see around the world is using drones with cameras and loudspeakers to fly around to see if people are gathering where they shouldn't be and telling them to go home. Another use for drones, at least for the Chula Vista police, might be to help spread the message around that about the coronavirus to homeless people who may not receive information any other way. Another way that they can help to try to get the message out, right, might be to use the drones. We need to tell them we actually have resources for them. They're vulnerable right now. It might be impractical or unsafe for our officers to be put in those areas. Drones are starting to play a larger role in society and crime. U.S. Border Patrol agents are having issues with smugglers using drones.
Yes.
That news was brought to you first by Anthony Agüero of Border Network News. If you recall, smugglers using drones to watch Border Patrol as they work along the southern border. The drones are also used to move small quantities of drugs across the border. At the peak of China's coronavirus outbreak, the country used taking drones to force citizens in certain areas to wear face masks. Where is your mask? Where is your mask? Yeah. Operators of the drone shouted at passersby in Chinese. In Belgium, which has more than 3,700 cases so far of the coronavirus, authorities began using drones to warn citizens about lockdowns that were put into place. Drones could be seen hovering overhead and reading off medical guidelines to people below them. Take care of yourselves and others, a woman's voice blared. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Police drones are being used in Brussels to warn the public of a lockdown in force and that the social distancing regulations must be adhered to. This news comes as cases of the coronavirus across the U.S. have increased dramatically. U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams warned on Monday that the coronavirus pandemic was going to get bad this week. Estimates of how many people will be becoming infected vary, but some states have taken stringent measures to stop the spread, including closing all non-essential businesses. It's going to happen, folks. Yeah. It's going to happen. You're going to see it, and you're going to see all sorts of other uses for drones during this virus, even walking dogs. Don't believe me? Check out this video. It's already happening. Only question I have is, who cleans up the doggy doo-doo?
There's another drone that comes behind him.
Look at how cute that looks. This dog is being walked by a drone during the coronavirus lockdown. This is real, guys.
Yeah. The drone is walking the dog.
The drone is walking the dog. Have you ever seen anything like it?
The dog looks real happy.
This is in Limassol, Cyprus. And now this production. A drone is walking the dog. Did you ever think you would live to see the day?
Yep.
What happens if the dog starts running?
Oh.
What happens
That's a good question.
if the dog jumps on the drone? I have so many questions about this.
What if another dog starts chasing the dog?
What do you think, Duke? Can it work?
Yeah, he's all by himself. There's no one outside.
What else can drones be used for?
Oh, they can be used to deliver food.
Yep.
You know, you can have your tacos delivered to your front door by a drone.
Oh, man, I'd like that. Tacos delivered to my front door by a drone. Now, I can get in line with that. Yeah. I could get into that. Also, some industries out there who aren't going to be able to do business right now, like tattoo parlors, for example, are sharing their resources with the medical providers.
Yeah.
Julie posted on social media, feeling so emotional right now. I just dropped off a bunch of masks and gloves at the hospital since we won't be tattooing eyebrows at Prettyology anytime soon. It was my partner Steve's idea. The nurse who came to get them had tears in her eyes and a verbal and physical sense of relief. If you have any masks that you can donate, please, please do that ASAP. There will be more available by the time we go back to work. We have an obligation right now to protect our sisters and brothers in the front line. The workers, they are the heroes trying to save humanity right now. Hospitals need masks more than we do. Folks, doctors are catching and dying from this virus to help people like me and you, to keep us safe, to treat us when we're sick. And we have to do everything that we can help them. Meanwhile, in Mexico, AMLO is still telling people to go out. Take your family to the restaurants, the local eateries, because that's what will help the economy. In this video I am about to share, I will translate what he is saying so you can put his volume down a little bit, and I will talk louder than him. But this guy continues to put people at risk in his country from COVID. Here is this video. He's in a restaurant enjoying a meal. Don't panic. Just go forward. Don't stop going out. We're only in phase 1. I'll tell you when you shouldn't go out anymore. But if you can do it and you're financially able to, keep going out. Take your family to restaurants and eateries. That's what will help the economy, the popular economy. Not doing so, we're not helping. If we don't go out, we're not helping. If we act in an exaggerated way, we have to keep living our lives. And at the time that it's necessary, your president will tell you when you should stop going out.
Wow.
I mean, did you look at that woman?
Yeah.
She didn't look at him a single time.
She's like, what am I doing out with this guy?
She's sitting there looking so stoic, like, I'm not going to say a word. And he kind of, I mean, I know that President AMLO is a slow talker.
Yeah. He's
a slow talker. He's like Obama. He's like, week ago.
Yeah.
You know, but he was kind of fumbling over his words.
Well, maybe he's having some drinks at lunch.
No, I think he's having remorse. I think he knows how many millions of people he's going to kill.
Oh, boy.
And I think that we're all going to look back. Believe me, I'm like an elephant. I never forget. I'm going to make sure people remember what you were doing way back when. And I'm going to continue to remind people of how you acted at a time when there was a global pandemic and people's lives were at risk. Just like I'm always going to remind people that here in North Dakota, a bunch of phonies and actors, a bunch of people that were, paid protesters came to disrupt the state, costing our state in North Dakota millions and millions of dollars, wreaking havoc on the land and putting innocent lives at risk, including the group of people that were part of the medic and healer counselor like Linda Black Elk that were putting out damaging information about an elderly woman and her daughter who her friends helped to put into a jail for 6 months and separate her from her family. Linda Black Elk is now, after having taken a hiatus from social media, returned to tell us about tinctures and potions and medicines, oh my, none of which cure COVID-19. But I guess people will do almost anything to make themselves relevant in a crisis so they can take advantage of it. And on top of that, let's look at the messaging coming out of this woman now. What does she have to say about the coronavirus? She says, make no mistake, the Trump administration makes everything about race and class because they are blatantly racist and classist government. I am willing to bet that there is a cause and effect relationship between one's income and one's chances of dying from COVID-19. We must demand a breakdown of those who have been tested, infected, recovered, and those who have died with the income level of each. What?
Yeah, it's a big
What?
conspiracy to get rid of the poor people.
She's saying it's racist, though. She's
Yeah.
saying that it's going to get rid of the black people, of the brown people. She's saying that the president is using the COVID virus as a bio weapon against black people because he's racist. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Is that even a logical thing to say?
No, and she's like demanding full accountability. We would like all the names and numbers.
what?
We're taking names and numbers here to prove this theory.
Oh my gosh. These are the kinds of things to look out for, folks. I'm going to show you who the bad actors are. I'm going to keep bringing them up. Another fraud, phony from Standing Rock, and also from the wildfires, and also from the earthquake in Puerto Rico. Terrence Daniels is also sharing propaganda related to the virus. In this video, which I'm going to mute because it's got a song in there, but you can see that these anarchist types like him, these Antifa types, are shoplifting. He shares the video saying, "I would never tell anyone to steal, but this did make me smile a bit. Drastic times call for drastic measures. Wait a minute. If you just said that you wouldn't advise anyone steal, then why would you say on the end of that, drastic times call for drastic measures?" And by the way, could you flash that up on the screen one more time? What is the video that he shared from? Terrence Daniel from Facebook.
Digital smoke signals.
It's Digital Smoke Signals video. This is the man, Digital Smoke Signals, Myron Dewey, is the man that was stopped and was put on a watch list for the Department of Homeland Security for being involved in the investigation about that smuggling operation I told you about. This is the same guy that was flying drones at Standing Rock. So, what are they sharing? Let's take a look. There is a guy in a store, and he has a backpack, and he's putting things into his backpack. Obviously, he's not going through the, he's not going to pay for them. And, oh, the video is stuck. I guess we're going to have to skip over it. But what they do is shoplift.
Yep.
They shoplift a bunch of items, all sorts of items, and then they make little, bags for the homeless people made out of the stuff that they steal from the store, while a song about Robin Hood is playing in the background. And then they put a big sticker of Trump's face on each of the bags. See how this is an attack on the president?
Yeah.
How many have you heard today from the same group of people? This is coming from a person that says they're not advocating for stealing, but that drastic times do call for drastic measures.
Yep.
And they're throwing bags with food and water with the president's face on it. It's a very ugly picture of the president. It's kind of like a cartoon, you know, and it says dump on it. Not Trump, dump.
Dump. Yeah.
And they're handing them out to the homeless people. And what is Digital Smoke Signals sharing at this time besides this kind of garbage circulated by all these frauds and phonies? Why their herbal guide to collective protection and healing during the COVID-19 virus. No, it's not. It's not protecting from COVID, and it doesn't heal COVID. Why are you lying to people? Why do you continue to lie to people? There's nothing wrong with being an herbalist. There's nothing wrong with drinking tea and tinctures and all sorts of things. Do they cure the virus? No. Do they heal the virus? No. Why do you keep telling people that? the Lakota Law Project, and Chase Iron Eyes, more of the people that brought you the nonsense and the crimes at Standing Rock. They're saying humans are not the virus. Indigenous people have shown that it is possible to live in balance with nature. Colonialism and extraction for profit, those are the virus. Again, no. Those are not the virus. Those are just things that you would like to be organizing around, but you can't organize right now because there's a pandemic. These people cannot sit still. It's driving them crazy that there's nothing they can do. They can't protest because they'd have to get a group of people to protest. They can't go and if they're supposed to be in lockdown and quarantine, they can't go running around banks and trying to do their little dances. They can't go yell at cops.
They can't be doing their presentation at the churches and groups and all those sorts of things to raise money.
They can't do any of that nonsense that they usually do. And yet they are trying so hard. They want to do whatever they can so hard. They cannot stand it. And of course, they want your dollars. Yes, even why not? This is what they've been preparing for since Standing Rock, to take your money because of their fake activism, their fake work supposedly to help the masses. Activism, actually, which of course you know is run by a woman who is a sex worker, Lilith Sinclair. Her real name is Kiara Horsley. She says, as she posts a poster that says, in response to the coronavirus, we're pooling our resources to gather funds for the most vulnerable in our communities as a minimum solidarity safety net. She says, these are hard times. I'm working hard on understanding the full scope of organizing happening in PDX to put together graphics with information about all these different avenues for help. In the meantime, here's an update from Portland Coronavirus Response Coalition. Please share widely. A yellow square graphic with pale honeycomb designs in the background. The text on the graphic says, in response to coronavirus, we're pulling our resources together, and they want you to contribute to their mutual aid fund. Remember the mutual aid video? It's the anarchists. You remember what they did with the money that they raised for that school bus? Remember what they did with all of the money they were raising for these different things? They funneled all of that money into working with the smugglers. That's what they funneled the money into. And paying activists, paying a bunch of activists, paying themselves. Beth comments, kind of like Cenk Uygur's campaign, begging for $15,000 during this time. Yeah, Beth, exactly like that. These greedy people want to take your dollars during a pandemic. If you didn't think that if you thought what they did at Standing Rock and since then have turned your stomach, this is really above and beyond. And here is one of their videos. They're out and about on the streets saying they're going to strike if they don't cancel. Remember, folks, most places are voluntarily stopping evictions and stopping, utilities types of stopping utilities to people's houses. So that's going to happen anyway. It's not like they're actually fundraising and working on something that they're going to get done. Just like they did when they were trying to get money for bringing flu shots into detention facilities.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to, these things are going to happen the way that they're meant to happen, but they want you to think they're the reason that the organizing that they're doing is going to stop these evictions. Here's that video. Listen carefully to what they say. Got a bullhorn.
Housing is a human right. Rent forgiveness or we strike. Housing is a human right. Rent forgiveness or we strike. Housing is a human right. Rent forgiveness or we strike. Housing is a human right. Rent forgiveness or we strike. Housing is a human right. Rent forgiveness or we...
You know what?
We strike.
I want to tell you something. I know that you may not agree with me on lockdowns and quarantines and making sure that we have people going in their homes, even if it means that we have to use drones with night vision or whatever to do it. But I can't wait. I can't wait till they stop people like this that are driving around
Yeah.
acting like idiots, hanging out, because she's not driving that car. Someone's in the car driving her so she can run around with her megaphone yelling at people. And I can't wait for the day when that kind of activity is going to get her put in jail.
Yeah.
Because they're actually out and about, and every time you go out unnecessarily,
Yeah.
remember, you should be only going out for essential mission critical activities. If you're going out to do stupid things like this so you can raise money off of the pandemic, you should be going to jail. And that's how I feel about it. I'm Cindy Gomez-Schempp.
And I'm Duke Gomez-Schempp.
This is a Mexican Crossing Lines, and you've been listening to 88.1 FM, KPPPLP, Fargo Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. Thanks for being with us tonight. Have a great evening.